Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tasia, but you can also call me Tay, and welcome in. Welcome back to Barbosa. It's day 7 of this 14-day challenge where I am building a pirate themed island. I have Rod and Rodney here. It's actually kind of funny. I'm just now noticing this for the first time. They're kind of like inverse of each other in terms of their color schemes and their outfits. I just thought that was so funny, and then they're just here fishing, and also their names are Rod and Rodney. I felt the need to point that out. So like I said, it's day 7 on the island. We are halfway through this challenge. I feel like I should start by clearing this little section because this has been here for some time. This was my mood board, but it's kind of just been sitting here, and I'm going to need to start expanding to the right side of this island in order to finish the island. Probably in the right hand corner of this area I'm going to do the Mermaid Cove, so I'm super excited for that build as well. But as I said yesterday, I do want to finish the neighborhood today, as well as work on the water behind the neighborhood and that little transition spot. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. If I still have a little bit of extra time, I might also work on the bridge that goes a little bit further back towards the island. So that is the plan for today. But yes, it is day 7, which means we are halfway through this challenge. And am I feeling stressed? A little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like probably a quarter of the island is semi-decorated, and some of these areas aren't even like fully done. I think I want to spend one day towards the end of the challenge just throwing in a bunch of little final touches around the builds, throw in items that I didn't have at the time I was building them, but I still have quite a lot to do. I still have to do the Mermaid Cove. I need to finish off this neighborhood. I also wanted to do a Skull Rock area, and of course we have to do the giant pirate ship build, which that is probably the one I'm most excited for. I know that's only like a few builds left to do. All the other parts are going to be supernatural, mostly ocean, and then the little filler builds that I mentioned. So I'm really taking my time with this town part, but I'm hoping to finish all of the town today, at least down here. I do plan to extend the town a little bit further past the land bridge that I plan to do, because I still have 3 more villager houses that I need to place somewhere, and that was my plan, is to put them in that area. Alright, now that this is all cleared, let's head back over to the neighborhood I was working on. I have a plan for how I want to decorate this, and I think it's going to come together quite well. Also, the palm tree and bushes are fully grown in. I keep calling these palm trees, which, is there a difference? Is there a difference between coconut and palm trees? Well, I guess the difference between them is one has coconuts and one doesn't. But either way, I'm sure you guys know what I mean. Also, you may notice that I have condensed this bridge just down to 2 spaces wide. I do think lining the walls to be parallel with this side of the cliff will look a lot better, but this is the neighborhood so far. We just need to add some details to it. I think I do want to start off with this upper area over here and work on some fencing. I think fencing really helps when framing an area, so I wanted to put that there. Already looks pretty good. And then I wanted to block off this side cliff here because it's just like an awkward end to the neighborhood, so I wanted to line that there. I'm not sure if I'm going to put any along here because I do plan to place some medieval building sides on that first level of sand. And they're a pretty tall item, so I don't think you're really going to see the fencing if I put it here. Now, I did want to also put some street lights over here because this is a town after all. I did want to add in these items, and also, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm not sure if I'm going to set this DA to nighttime, so even if I'm not, I still just want to place some light items. I think it just makes the area feel a little bit cozier. Yep, that's pretty nice. And then let's decorate this centerpiece here. I have quite a few items that I wanted to work with. I did grab an anchor. Let me see if I can find it within all these items. Okay, yes, here's the anchor statue. I wanted to place this here and kind of just do a cluster of items, make it look a little bit natural. I do have some pirate barrels that I wanted to display as well. Also mainly because they do have the skulls on them, and that really brings across the whole pirate theme. So there's one there. Actually, I might move this up a little bit. Push this forward and then put one more. Or actually, I also grabbed these mossy garden rocks. I think that could look kind of nice in this spot. Yeah, I think I like the look of that. And I also grabbed a flat garden rock as well. I just thought adding in some rocks would just fit this kind of decor, I guess. and it changes it up from some other things I've done. Let's place a ruined seat. I like using these around the island because it adds a bit of greenery without it being an actual shrub or something because of the vines on it. So I think that looks pretty nice. And then I have one more pirate barrel. Do I want it there though? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, actually, I think I want to move this garden rock to this side, and then I'll put my extra pirate barrel where the garden rock was. I do want to push everything a little bit backwards. There we go. It looks a little bit more put together because it's like within the actual sandy part of this outline. And then I can put my last pirate barrel over here, right behind the bush. Should I turn it so you can see the pirate face, or is that too many skulls? Actually, you can't really even see them, unfortunately, but that's okay. I guess I'll just leave it that way. Nope, I like it better this way. Okay, this is going to be the centerpiece for this area. Ooh, you know what I should do? I haven't had the chance to do it yet because I didn't have the item, but I actually got the item the other day. I really wanted to customize the tabletop pop stand, I think it's called. I'm honestly not sure what the name is. Also, my storage shed is not over here, it's down here. Let me go grab that. And I'm also going to need my workbench for this. But I finally picked up the tabletop pop display stand. That's what it's called. And I'm actually going to use this so I can customize it to look like there are parrots just sitting on different items around my island. I haven't been able to do that yet because I just didn't have the items. Also, I forgot to grab to this wedding fence. I just think it looks so pirate-like because it's red and gold. What does it look like just in general? I'm not sure if it will look good in this area in particular, but I would love to use it somewhere else around the island. But as I was saying, I definitely want to try and customize these to have parrots on them. Let's go with the red one. Look how cute that is. I love it. I might just customize a few just so I can scatter them around the areas I haven't done yet. Okay, what would it look like if I just placed this one right here? Oh, the sun is kind of flushing out the color of it, unfortunately. I think that's just because of the time of day right now. What would it look like on the pirate barrel back here? Okay, wait, that's actually really cute. Do I like the height of it though, is the question. You know, I also grabbed a bottled ship. What does that look like? Okay, it feels pretty nautical. I think I like it. I honestly would probably like this a little better on this barrel, but then the sun is kind of blocking the parrot, so I'm not really sure what the best solution is for that besides changing the day, but I'm not about to like change my time in game just so I can see what it looks like right now. I'm hoping that won't be a problem in the future, but I'm gonna leave the parrot like that for now. You can kind of see him a little better if I pan my camera like this. Yeah, let's just pretend you're able to actually see the parrot because I think I like the bottled ship on top of this barrel. I don't know what else to really put up here besides some leaf piles and things. I do need to put in some medieval building sides here, but also I might as well finish this bridge. I wanted to do the stonework kitchen item, I think, and I think I want to customize it to be like the ruined green mossy looking one. So that's probably what I'm going to use for that. But before I even do that, let me just finish back here. I had a really good idea, I think, for this area, so I just want to finish this off before I add in anything else, really. I wanted to put these brick walls in between each of the houses to kind of make this area feel like a little bit of a dark alley. Yeah, so this is where like the pirates hang out, I guess, is in each of the villagers' houses. There could be a tavern or a pub, things like that, not really sure. But that's the vibe for this area. And I do already really like that brick wall. What does it look like? Yeah. Oh yeah, that actually looks really good. I think I like it there. It is a little annoying that you can see the cliffside behind the houses, but I'm not really sure what I can do about that, to be honest. So I'm just gonna continue working on this. Let's throw in some of this iron fencing. Oh wait, I need to remember to put down some pathing on top of this cliff before I even do that. I guess I'll just put in the wooden plank codes all across the back because I doubt you're really gonna see it much, but just in case you do, I want to make sure I have something down here. Okay, that is much better. Let's put in some of this fencing here. This is where I really like to layer a lot when it comes to making like fake buildings or backdrops. I try to throw in some fencing and different heights of items and stuff. I just think it really makes the build come to life. Also, I did customize some simple panels, and these have the dark windows on them. I think it's going to be perfect. I love the glowing window as part of this design. And then behind the windows, I was thinking of just pretty much lining this whole area with these medieval building sides and pushing them all the way forward. Alright, there we go. We have all the walls filled in. I also grabbed some castle towers. I think it would just be nice to frame off the very edge of these buildings with them, just because they are slightly taller than these other walls. Okay, I think I really like this. This is exactly what I wanted to achieve when I said I was going for a dark, eerie vibe. Also, the sun is just not on our side right now for looking at my builds. It's kind of causing a glare on all of the simple panels or display items. But you kind of get the idea of this. I think that looks pretty good. So now to figure out what to fill in for this area. I did grab quite a few more street lamps just to create a little perimeter around the area. I just feel like having them in here makes it feel a little bit more like a seaport town, but pirate version. Especially because we are on the very edge of my island here, so you can actually walk right onto the beach, which in this case is working out very well in my favor. You just go from the town onto the beach and there's the ocean. But now to figure out what I want to do for these pieces. I think I want to do a bunch more barrels and things. So I wanted to stack this here. Maybe I'll put a parrot on this barrel instead of the other barrel. Oh my goodness, the sun keeps messing with it. I don't really know what to do. I might time travel if it's really going to become too distracting, but there's that. I also have a bird cage, so maybe there's just like a bunch of parrots around here. And then I have one last sideways pirate barrel. The parrots are just too cute. Oh my gosh, I love them. I kind of like the idea of a bunch of birds being everywhere. So what if I crafted a wooden box and then placed the decoy duck on top of it? I'm so excited. I finally got the wooden box DIY, so I want to craft quite a few of these because I've been meaning to place them a lot around the town. I just haven't had the actual item to do so. Also, I got the regular barrel DIY as well, so I want to craft a few of those. Okay, let's place one box here. And then turn it around. Is that too many boxes? I don't know. Maybe not if I place another one here and then a barrel. So then it's a little bit balanced on both sides. Not sure how I feel about that. Let's try shifting these a little bit over. Okay, I think I like that a little bit better. Maybe not so much on this side. Oh, you know, something else that I really wanted to try is to see if I could fit in a coconut tree. Oh, okay, great, I can place one there. Only problem is it's blocking my bird cage, which I don't like. Am I able to move it over just one more space? Oh, darn, it looks like I can't fit it here. I would have to move it up one space if I really want you to see the bird cage, which I think I do. So let me try moving it just one space forward. Okay, but now it looks like there's just a little bit too many palm trees, if I'm honest. What if I move it back to the original square and then I place the bird cage in front of the tree? Or I could possibly even put it in front of the house right here. Just as long as you're able to see the bird cage, that's really what matters, because I like the idea of all these birds sitting here. Alright, and there we go. I do think I'm gonna have it grow out to be the full stage tree, just so it's a little bit higher and it doesn't block that other parrot design that I have. Let's work on this little backdrop here. I think I want to do something similar where it's like a cluster of items. I just don't really know what those are. Okay, hi everyone, Voiceover Tasia here. I didn't really realize that I somehow muted my microphone when I was recording this part, so I have to come in here and kind of talk over what I was doing. Basically, I wanted to make each side of this little neighborhood a little bit more symmetrical, so I threw in another palm tree there, and I also started putting in some more boxes and barrels. I just wanted it to feel like it's, I don't know, just a bunch of stuff is stacked in this neighborhood. It doesn't really make much sense, but There it is. I also threw in that lamppost. And here's when I decided to throw in some storefronts right behind these houses. I just felt like something needed to go behind this cliff to really fill out the area, so I found that to be the most fitting thing, and I think it blends in quite nicely in the area. And then I moved the bottle ship item from the top of the neighborhood down to the bottom. I just think it looks a little bit better in this spot, so I replaced it with the parrot, and then I thought it would be cute to drop a rubber boot on top of the ruined seat. And here's how the finished centerpiece looks. I think it is so cute. And then back down at the bottom of the neighborhood, I wanted to put in a cannon here. I was trying to figure out what other item I wanted to put on the other side of the palm tree, so I just thought that was like a perfect little addition. And then I also decided to stack a few more boxes right behind that. And then there was this little extension of the land right next to Zucker's house, so I figured placing a storefront here would be a really good addition, and it kind of makes his house feel a little bit more rustic. And then I took a slight detour from the neighborhood and I decided to come over to the plaza. Now that I have the barrel and wooden box DIYs, I wanted to place a few items around here that really just fill out the space and adds a few little details on the deck. And then I ended up time traveling and visiting a treasure island to pick up a few other items. I finally grabbed quite a few green leaf piles, so I scattered those around the area as well. And I also stuck a parrot on top of that tower. I think it's so cute. I love that little detail. And then coming back into the neighborhood, I also scattered some more leaf piles around. I added a few other little minor details that you may notice, like the decoy duck and that little gyroid. And then I placed a brick well in the very center of the town. I wanted to recustomize it because I didn't like the colors that it was in this area of the town. So I made it like the more rundown dark version, and I just think it fits very, very well in this area. And I think this is pretty much all I'm going to add to the villager neighborhood. I just think the pathing that I'm using is very prominent and it's like kind of a lot, so I don't want to put too many things on the ground. It might just look a little bit too busy. So up top I just scattered around some more leaf piles, and then I also added in some of these street lamps with banners and I put the pirate skulls on them. I just thought that was a really nice detail to add to the area. And the very last thing I was working on before I realized my mic was muted was the beginning of the land bridge. I did want to add some more stonework kitchens for the walls, so I did have to run to Reese and Cyrus so I could customize some. And as you probably saw, I am going for the mossy version of this item. I just think it looks the best amongst all my other codes that I'm using in this area, so I wanted to go with that version. But that was essentially all I was working on so far, so I'm gonna hand it back over to Past Me, and we're gonna continue building on the island. Oh my goodness, you guys. I just returned from the island, Harv's Island, and I realized that my mic was muted this entire time. I'm so sorry. So I'm pretty sure Voiceover Tasia had to take over. Um, it's okay though. I wasn't doing anything too exciting, but that's kind of upsetting. Like I was really actually doing some good commentary there. But I'm sure you saw everything I was working on, so I guess it's okay. Anyways, we have returned to the island. I want to go ahead and place down these stonework kitchens, as I was saying, but didn't realize that you couldn't hear me. Okay, let's put these down over here. I think I need to face this way for them to be faced backwards. Okay, yes. And then one more over here. I did actually have to extend this bridge. Well, not extend. I had to shorten the bridge because my medieval building sides were just one space longer than my original layout for this bridge. So I did have to shorten the bridge just a little bit, but I still think it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and place the other ones on this side. I think the colors look really good. I was debating what variation of the stonework kitchen to use for the walls, but I think this one looks quite nice, especially because I've been using this kind of variant on some castle items around the island, and it's not too distracting from the building. So I think this actually looks quite nice. I love it. It looks like a realistic bridge, and I love that you can still see the trees quite well. I was considering putting in some street lamps along the bridge as well, but I had to condense the bridge to be a little bit smaller, so that's not really going to work out anymore. But that's also okay because I have some street lamps here in the neighborhood, which I did add these little banners as well, as I probably said in my voiceover. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this is turning out. I do want to put some bushes and possibly some wheat fields down there, but I think this is going to be the neighborhood for now. I really like it. Oh, I did actually want to add something on my peninsula. I usually forget about my peninsula when I build my islands, but this time you can actually see it. I haven't added terraforming on it or anything. I haven't closed it off, so I do want to build something over there. And I'm thinking of putting a lighthouse. I think that would be really cute. But I'm also going to put a lighthouse in the next build I'm working on. So I don't know, that's going to be like 3 lighthouses on the island, but it's okay. I think it's going to be quite fun. Or at least I want to put a lighthouse if there is room. I'm going to need to do some terraforming because I wanted to do what I was going to originally do with the first lighthouse I put on the island and have like a little rock fixture go underneath of it. So I need to build out some terraforming about here. And then the cave item is gonna go about right there. Okay. I think it is cool. It's just, I'm realizing that this kind of rock with the lighthouse trick definitely looks best from a view that's further out, because then you can see the entire lighthouse when you look at it. Whereas here it's like cut off in the frame. You know, I actually might do something a little different there instead of this lighthouse, so I'm gonna work on that a little bit later because I don't exactly know what I want to do there. Decorating this little area might be part of my fillers video that I plan to do towards the end. As long as I have enough days left to build, I hope I don't run out of time building out this island. Now that I've actually laid down all this sand here, I'm feeling a little more confident. So basically what I wanted to do over here was make a little island, and it's just going to be like a little tiny island. It's just going to house the lighthouse here and probably a bush and a palm tree, and that's about it. I don't think I want to go too overboard with this little island. So the lighthouse is there, a palm tree. Oh, the spacing is a little bit off. Okay, maybe I can move it over by 1 just so the tree can fit very close. And then we're going to wrap the water in a little circle around here. This is really just bringing me back to working on my other island, Kakamora. And it was fun too, because I had to think backwards, like what I'm currently doing right here to make the island. But it's very familiar to me now because I have done an island like that before. It just reminds me of building out that theme. Alright, there we go. We got our little island, and that is honestly so cute. Imagine just all the water filled in here. I think it's gonna be so pretty. And also, I'm gonna make like a little waterfall feature using the caves somewhere right here. So it's gonna look like the water flows into this pool. I haven't figured out if I want to do some more deck codes like on the sides here to make it like a little tucked in port. We'll see. I'm just gonna start off with the water first. Okay, there we go. We got the perimeter down. So now I actually want to put in a few of the ripple codes around just to make it look a little more realistic. And then I will go ahead and fill in the rest of the ocean. Okay, you guys, I did it. I filled in all of this water. It's not all the way back here, but it's at least within the range of where we are building for today. I didn't push out the water too far to the left because I'm not sure if I'm going to add in like an extension of the dock that goes up and down like this and then put in, I don't know, some like buildings or whatever, because I have a lot of space over here that I am not sure what to do with. You know what would be really cool is if I make like a little transition to some kind of island back here and have it be like a jungly area. I did something very similar on my other island. I do, of course, want to incorporate some kind of buried treasure area. That might be where I do it, or I'll do Skull Rock back there. I'm not quite sure. I envision Skull Rock in the corner on the right hand side of the island. We'll see, we'll see. But as I was placing this down, I realized that the water looks like it runs underneath the dock here, which I guess based on the way I built it, it kind of does work that way. So I think I need to fix that by either using this code here and placing one bridge code. I don't really know if I like that. I was either going to do that or I was going to do this and put like the plank underneath of this part right here. I think that makes a little bit more sense. Okay, I like that a little better. So that goes there and that goes there. And then this seems just a little bit too wide to me, so I think I'm gonna actually shorten it a bit. Yeah, I like the spacing so much better. Okay, perfect. Although right here I did want to put in that rope coat again. Maybe actually I'll put it right about there because I want to put a barrel somewhere over here and I don't want it to be right on top of the rope. And then I do need to grab a palm tree, and I do think I'm gonna let this grow to its full state. So I'm just gonna plant this without a sapling. I did want to put a bush probably right there and right here. And then I might put a weed right here. Let me just grab one off of this cliff over here. Okay, we planted the weeds there. I do need to run and get some bushes. I put them on the other side of my island. All right, plumeria right there. And then the olive tree bush will go right there. Yeah, it's very cute. I love it. I'm pretty sure I could put something else on that little island, but I kind of like the simplicity of it, if I'm honest. Next, I did want to work on the cave detail. So how this is gonna work, I'm gonna build out a cliff here, put a waterfall in between. I'm gonna also place the cave items on either side, so it kind of looks like a rocky mountain type waterfall. But that also means this cliff is probably going to be a lot bigger than I was anticipating, which kind of makes me even more tempted to make this back corner of the island like a secluded jungly area. We'll see though, we'll see how it all comes together. Okay, before I make this any bigger, I do want to see what it looks like from over here. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to move this a little bit more forward. Or what I should do is actually probably place a cave down first, just so I have a better understanding of the spacing here. So one cave will be there. Push it back a little bit. I just don't want it to be too close to the lighthouse. But that is already like super far back. I don't think I mind it. I think I like it right there. But let's go ahead and extend the cliff out a little bit more. Oh, this is gonna take up even more space than I thought initially, because I also want to put some caves on the second level too. Oh no, okay. This is gonna be a lot bigger than I was hoping, because the cave items take up 3 tiles of space, so that means I'm gonna have to extend each of these edges out by 2 in order to fit the other caves in here. Oh, actually, you know what? I think what I should do is condense this waterfall just a tad. Maybe actually leave it just as 3, and then I can put the other cave like right here, and then I build out my waterfall a little bit further so that the cave can be a little closer to the edge here. And I'm gonna have to have the water run downwards like this. It's actually kind of crazy how much space some builds take up. You don't really realize it at the beginning. You kind of start small and then you realize that it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna fit the spacing that you initially wanted. I mean, I guess it's good for me because I'm trying to finish this island in only 14 days. If these builds take up more space, I guess that's a good thing. But at the same time, I feel like that's why I sometimes struggle on other themes that I'm really excited to do, because I feel like my island just isn't big enough and I run out of space, and not all of my initial ideas end up making it onto the final island. It's a little unfortunate. I wish we had a little bit more space. Sometimes I find it difficult to finish an island. Other times it's super easy because I filled it up so much with big builds. I guess it does kind of depend. Okay, I think this is the exact spacing I'm going to need for everything. I do want to curve that edge, and then is this big enough for the other cave? Yes. Yes, it is. Let me curve that side too. I don't have my storage. Oh yes, I did bring my storage shed. Thank goodness, because I did not want to run all the way back to that beach on the other side of the island. And I do think I am going to stick with this version of the cave, so I just need 3 more. I haven't placed down the 4th cave yet, but I can already tell it's not exactly what I wanted. I wonder if I have to push this out a little bit for you to see the waterfall a bit more. There have been many people who have done this kind of build before, so maybe I should actually look at their builds and get some inspo and kind of see how they laid theirs out, because it looks a little different than what I'm currently trying to do here. Or maybe that's just because their builds were like you could walk really close up to it and it looked a little better. When you're coming up this way, you don't see the waterfall from here, which I was really hoping you would. I think the second level cliff is just a little too far pushed back. That might be the problem. And also we are off to the right hand side of the build, but when you look at it straight on, it does look a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna look up some inspo really quickly and then I'm gonna be back. Hopefully this can come together the way I was hoping it would, because this was gonna be like my really cool viewpoint for this build. So let me just try to figure this out and I will be right back. So I'm back. I have worked on this a little bit and I think it looks better than how I had it, but I'm still not 100% happy with how it's looking. I'm thinking that I might want to build out a whole island behind this area, so you'll actually see like a lot more greenery and jungles and trees over here. And as you can probably tell, I have condensed it down to only using 2 caves, so I do think that looks a little bit better than before. Again, not my favorite, but it'll just have to do for now. I also extended out some decking here, and I also did this little like water detail because I do think I might want to put some kind of like jungly island area, as I said. So maybe you'll come up on here, this top area. I extended this cliff out behind the villager houses, so maybe this will just be like some kind of rooftop situation. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe I could have like cannons facing outwards. That could look kind of cool. Or if I put like a sideways pirate ship. Wait, I like that idea so much more. Okay, instead of a jungle, this might be more ocean, so I'll probably fix that water piece, but I might put some more trees. I don't know. I haven't decided. Maybe this part will have a little bit of sand to represent that this is like land, and then more ocean out there, but it will have a sideways pirate ship. I think I like that idea. So that might be the plan for that. And I did extend this cliff back here. It is a lot bigger than I was hoping, as I said it was going to be, but I did add in some waterfalls on the sides and things to flow into the ocean. But yeah, that is the plan. I did actually extend the dock a little bit wider than I had it initially. Yeah, because I was just playing around with everything, and I also shifted the island over a little bit. Just all the minor changes that you probably wouldn't notice unless I pointed them out. But yeah, I think I am happy for now with how this is looking. Like I said, island back there, probably extend the ocean out that way. I might throw in some storefronts in here to like be the edge of this building. But for now, I want to just leave this as is, kind of step away from it for a bit and come back to it when I'm feeling a little more inspired for this area. But the last thing I really wanted to do today, I know we've done quite a lot and I can tell this video might be on the longer side, is work on the land bridge. I don't think I'm going to work on the extension of the town, but I at least want to extend the bridge to where it's going to end, and also line it with the stonework kitchen items. I don't know if I'm going to work on these buildings here because I don't know if I have all the items to really finish them the way I want them to look. But firstly, I actually do need to extend out the water path onto this side because I want water on both sides of this bridge. So I'm just going to get out the water code here and just kind of place it down all along this area. Alright, so with that water filled in, my plan was to actually make a makeshift bridge that runs along the water, kind of like a canal. I guess that's the best word for it, is a canal that runs along here, and I'm going to try and fit my last 3 villager houses on here. So I'm gonna need to figure out the spacing for that. So let's see, let me just put down something to kind of map them out. I think one is gonna be right here, and that's 4 spaces wide. And then the last one is going to be about there. Okay, so that is quite a long piece of space. I'm not sure if I want it to go out that far. So maybe I'll just do 2 houses instead of 3, and then I'll put the incline in between the 2. I'll just use this to represent the edge of the incline, and then that is going to be the second house. Okay, yes, I like that spacing a bit more. And what's nice is it perfectly ends where this code is going to end. So we're just going to have the bridge look like this and run all the way across the water. And just for spacing's sake, I actually might move this down a little bit further because the houses are going to have to extend 4 spaces back. Might as well just condense this canal a bit. And then for the sidewalk part of this canal, I was thinking of either using this code. Oh yeah, I like this. Okay, we're gonna use this one. I think that is pretty good for this little area. I also need to add in the piece of the water path that looks like it has a shadow, just so it looks more natural going into this little bridge part. And I think I like the spacing of this much better because it is still in line with this back part of my town. So that's perfect actually. And then finally we need to extend our bridge all the way out and behind the houses. And there we go. Okay, actually I think I like this a lot. You know, I am actually very strongly considering making this bridge wider. I just want it to be like a big land bridge with some lampposts and things, and I think to achieve that I'm gonna have to extend this out. I won't go through the trouble of showing you guys moving all of the codes again over there for the little canal part, but I do want to extend this bridge and then put all the pathing down. So with this bridge place, it is finally time to start throwing in all of our stonework kitchens. I think this is really going to bring it all together. And I'm going to actually use the lighter gray version of them. I think it's just going to look the best with all the colors. So I have a bunch of these. I might need more, or I'll just customize these tan ones that I have in my storage. If I do need more, we'll see. Also, I need to grab a few of these street lamps because that is the whole reason why I extended this bridge. So we have to use them somewhere. Okay, so this is going to be a fake building, so I think the first one is going to be placed right about here. Because I plan to fill this space with another stonework kitchen like I have on the right side over there. I'm not even like up on the second level yet, but I'm already liking the look of these items together and the pathing. Oh, I did it again. I'm just trying to push this in all the way, but it won't let me. Okay, I guess I have to pick it up and then replace it down in order for it to fit. Alright, and here we are on the bridge. I think that actually looks pretty cool. Let's add in a few of the street lamps just to see on one side how it would look. Okay, I like it, but now I feel like I shouldn't have these ones down here. And I'll just leave it with the window codes. Okay, so we have 6 on the bridge. I think 6 is actually a good number. I might push them up a little bit more, or should I move them up a little bit and only have 4 on the bridge? Because I feel like 6 might be a little bit too much. So if I move these end street lamps closer together, I think that's going to look a little better. Okay, so I actually lined this area with the stone fencing as well in between the street lamps, and I love the way that this looks. I do want to get some of that iron and stone fence and put them on the edge right here behind these simple panels. I think that'll just really fence off the start of the bridge perfectly, and then at the end, this isn't going to be the color that I use, but just for visual reference, I do plan to place the castle gate here and possibly some ruined pillars or just the decorative pillar on either side of it, and that's going to be the bridge area, you guys, and I love it. And then I just got to fix all the sizing and spacing of the stuff down there, fill in this area for the market, and that will be that. But I think I am going to call it here for now. I'm sure this video is so long, but we made quite a lot of progress and I'm so happy with what we have done. Here is an island map update. So this is where we are. We're on the land bridge. We finished the town. We also worked on the little lighthouse area. As I said, I think I want to make that back area behind the lighthouse and the town to be like a lookout spot. I'm not sure if I want it to be accessible or not. We'll see. It might be like a forced perspective kind of thing, but I definitely want to fit in a pirate ship back there. And tomorrow, I think we are going to actually start the big pirate ship that's going to be on the right-hand side of the island. It's honestly what I was really most excited to do. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, definitely consider giving this video a thumbs up. And also subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you guys join this cozy community that we are building here. And I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye!